What does life look like when you've already created music that changed the world? When your legacy is already written in history, and your name is forever connected to one of the greatest bands of all time. This is the story of Verdine White, a name that might not always be in the spotlight, but a legend whose impact is felt in every note, every rhythm, and every performance of Earth, Wind, and Fire. While many know the sound, very few truly know the man behind it. And in 2026, his life is far more peaceful than the electrifying energy that once defined his stage presence. His California home represents more than just success. It represents legacy, a place where decades of music, fame, and experience come together into something calm, grounded, and real. Because after years of global tours, packed arenas, utter non-stop performances, peace becomes the ultimate reward. With a net worth built through decades of music success, tours, and royalties, Verdine White has created a life that most artists can only dream of. But what makes his story different isn't just the fame or the fortune, it's the consistency. Because staying relevant in the music industry for decades is something only legends achieve. And that's exactly what he is. But his journey to this level wasn't always smooth. There were struggles, there were challenges, and moments where the path forward wasn't clear. Yet through it all, he stayed committed to his craft. And today, every part of his lifestyle reflects that dedication. But what about his daily life, his income, and the real details behind his success? In the next part, we dive deeper into the lifestyle of Verdine White, exploring his wealth, routine, and the life he built beyond the stage. Now let's step deeper into the lifestyle of Verdine White, because behind the legendary music and global fame lies a life built on discipline, balance, and purpose. This isn't just the story of a musician, it's the story of consistency over decades. While many artists fade with time, Verdine White chose a different path. He stayed connected to his craft, continued performing, and maintained a lifestyle that reflects both passion and stability. His California home isn't just a place to live. It's a space filled with history, a place where creativity still flows, where music still lives, and where the legacy of Earth, Wind, and Fire continues quietly behind the scenes. Because for someone like him, music never really stops. Even in a more relaxed phase of life, his routine reflects a deep connection to his art. Practice sessions, yet creative moments, and time spent refining his sound remain part of his daily life. But beyond music, his lifestyle is calm, structured, and focused on well-being. No chaos, no unnecessary noise, just balance. And that balance is what keeps him grounded even after decades of success. When it comes to wealth, Verdine White has built his net worth through multiple streams. Music royalties continue to generate income. Tour performances add to his earnings, and his long-standing legacy ensures that his influence remains valuable even today. Because when your music becomes timeless, your income becomes long-lasting. While he may not be known for flashy luxury or extreme displays of wealth, his financial success is undeniable. And that's what makes his lifestyle unique. It's not about showing off, it's about sustaining success. So then comes family. Away from the stage, his life is centered around personal connections, relationships, and the people who matter most. Because after a lifetime of performing for millions, the real value lies in the moments you spend away from the spotlight. But like every long journey, his path wasn't without challenges. The music industry is unpredictable. Trends change, audiences evolve, and staying relevant requires constant effort. Yet through every change, Verdine White adapted without losing his identity. Because for him, success wasn't about chasing trends, it was about staying true to the sound that made him legendary. But what were the defining achievements that placed him among the greatest musicians of all time? In the next part, we explore the achievements, struggles, and iconic moments that built the legacy of Verdine White. Now let's look at the moments that truly define the legacy of Verdine White. Because his journey isn't just about music, it's about impact. From the early days of Earth, Wind, and Fire Something special was already taking shape. A sound that blended funk, soul, R&B, and energy in a way the world had never experienced before. And right at the center of that sound was the bass. Powerful, rhythmic, unforgettable. That's where Verdine White stood out. His style wasn't just about playing music, it was about feeling it. As the band rose to global fame, their performances became legendary. Sold out arenas, unforgettable live shows, and a musical presence that crossed generations. Hits turned into classics, albums turned into history, and Verdine White became a key part of that legacy. But success at that level comes with pressure, or constant touring, high expectations, the challenge of staying relevant in a constantly changing industry. There were moments where the journey could have slowed down, moments where the energy of the past could have faded. But instead of losing momentum, the band continued to evolve. And so did he, because true artists don't just perform, they adapt. Over the years, the achievements kept growing: awards, recognition, global influence, and a legacy that continues to inspire new generations of musicians. And that's what makes his story powerful, because staying at the top for decades isn't just about talent, it's about consistency. And consistency is what turned Verdine White into a legend. Even today, the music of Earth, Wind, and Fire continues to live on, played across the world, connecting people across generations. Because great music never fades, it evolves, and his contribution to that sound will always remain unforgettable. But beyond all the achievements, the fame, and the global success, there's still one final part of the story. What does his life truly represent today? And what legacy is he building beyond music? In the final part, we reveal the full picture of Verdine White, not just as a musician, but as a symbol of timeless success. In the end, the story of Verdine White is not just about music, fame, or success. It's about building something that lasts beyond time. From the golden era of Earth, Wind, and Fire to a peaceful life in California, his journey reflects something far deeper than achievement. It reflects legacy. Because what truly defines him today isn't just the songs, the performances, or the global recognition. It's the life he built after it all. His California home represents more than just comfort. It represents a lifetime of dedication, discipline, and passion, finally finding its balance. A place where the noise of fame fades away, where the rhythm slows down, and where life becomes real again. With a net worth built through decades of music success, tours, and royalties, his financial journey is proof that consistency creates lasting wealth. Not sudden fame, not temporary success, but a steady, focused path that continues to grow over time. And that's what makes his story different. Because while many chase quick success, he built something timeless. Even today, his influence continues through music, inspiration, and the legacy he leaves behind. Because great artists don't just create songs, they create impact. And that impact lives on long after the spotlight fades. Because in the end, Verdine White didn't just build a career. He built a legacy that continues to inspire generations.